Hey guys, how are you all doing? Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video I'm going to talk about a case that happened in Turkey involving a love triangle. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Aleyna Ağgül was an 18-year-old girl who lived in Iğdır, a city with just over 80,000 inhabitants located in Turkey. She lived in the city center in Kasım District 14. The woman was dating a boy called Göktürk Argan, the son of a local businessman who attended the same school as her. On September 30th, 2021, Aleyna was found lifeless lying in front of the apartment building where she lived. Even before the body was found, a farewell note from Aleyna was found in which she said that the only reason for her departure was Gökhan Argan, her boyfriend's father. The police were called and quickly began an investigation into the case. It was found that Aleyna had jumped from the 5th floor of the building, taking her own life. Subsequently, the woman's body was sent for an autopsy, where a toxicological examination was carried out, and an in-depth analysis of the entire body was carried out to determine the cause of death. In the toxicological examination, it was found that the woman had a significant amount of alcohol in her blood, indicating that she was possibly drunk. In the in-depth analysis, it was determined that the cause of death was due to multiple fractures throughout the body and also internal bleeding caused by the fall. The farewell note that the woman left was written in lipstick and left on her shoe rack minutes before she committed the act. The story quickly had repercussions, and this farewell note was what caught the population's attention the most. The full text of the note read as follows.
You are a neurotic person who doesn't know what you're talking about, nor what humanity is. It goes against my insistence on talking and resolving things, defending the right to pick on me, and constantly threatening me. You are a sick person with problems. It's obvious that you forced relations with your own son's girlfriend twice, in addition to sleeping with your friends' wives. I can't help but say this. The only mistake I made was the dishonorable thing you did while humiliating me.
Everyone who started following the case wanted to know more about who Gökhan Argan was and what was the plot behind everything that culminated in this tragedy. Gökhan was 41 years old at the time of the incident. He owned a shipping company and was considered a highly successful local businessman. The man was also married and the father of 2 children, and one of those children was Aleyna's boyfriend. During investigations into the case, the police sent teams to the IT crime division to examine social media accounts and cell phones of those involved in the case, particularly the accounts of Aleyna and Gökhan. Police revealed that one of the cell phones used by Gökhan had strangely gone missing. This cell phone, in fact, would have been used in a call that police said was connected to the case. In testimony, Gökhan told the police that his son Göktürk was very angry the night before and had sent him rude messages and then broke his phone by hitting the kitchen wall and throwing it out of the house. However, according to the police, Gökhan had hidden the device as it could contain messages and photos of him with Aleyna that could put him in trouble. It was also discovered that Aleyna had already tried to take her own life on another occasion. The incident would have occurred on May 14, 2020 in Istanbul, one of the most important cities in Turkey. That day, Aleyna went to a building under construction in the Baglar Mahallesi region and climbed a few floors, but before she could jump, the police arrived at the scene and managed to stop her. The woman would have taken this attitude because on the same day, Gökhan would have called her and arranged a meeting, and during that meeting the man would have attacked her. According to the police, Aleyna had been having a relationship with her own father-in-law for some time, and that in the beginning everything was consensual, but as time went by, the woman no longer wanted to have a relationship with the man and became a victim of blackmail and persecution. In a text written on May 15, 2020 by Aleyna to a friend, she says that despite liking Gökhan a little, she was afraid of the man and thought it was better for him to stay away. Still during his testimony, Gökhan stated that he and the woman actually had a relationship that everything was consensual and that there was never any threat, blackmail, or aggression from either party. He said that he had nothing to do with the girl's act of taking her own life and that the day before they had met and everything was fine. That day, he said that the two went to the pharmacy to buy the morning after pill as they slept together and did not use protection. Everything led to the belief that Aleyna had taken her own life due to being trapped in a relationship that she could no longer get out of. However, the police did not rule out the possibility that she was the victim of a crime. Both the police and a good part of the population that followed the case were suspicious that Gökhan or Göktürk, his son and Aleyna's boyfriend, had direct involvement in what happened to the young woman. Many believed that Aleyna had not taken her own life, but that someone had pushed her from the building and arranged it to look like she had jumped on her own. Aleyna was laid to rest and buried in the Iğdır Asri Cemetery in the city of Iğdır. In an interview, her family stated that they do not believe that Aleyna took her own life, but rather that she was the victim of a crime planned by Gökhan or Göktürk. They also said that they were extremely sad, as this was the second tragedy they had faced, as Aleyna's older brother had drowned 3 years earlier in the sea in Marmaris. During the investigations, Gökhan Argan was arrested on suspicion of involvement in the case. Göktürk Argan was also detained on suspicion of connection to the case, but was released shortly afterwards. After being arrested, Gökhan was taken to his first court hearing, where he was eventually released by the criminal court, but under the condition that he should not leave the city. The public prosecutor's office tried to appeal the decision, but the appeal was rejected. The investigations continued, and later the police took statements from two of Aleyna's friends, a girl called Beyza and a friend called Serhat. Beyza told police that she did not know Gökhan personally, but that Aleyna told her that the man harassed, threatened, and sometimes hit her. She said that on September 29, 2021, the day before the incident, Aleyna sent her an audio on WhatsApp saying that she couldn't take it anymore and that she would go to the police station to file a complaint. But the woman never went to the police station as he allegedly jumped from the building hours later. The police analyzed the audio sent and added the content to the set of evidence that had already been collected. The other friend, Serhat, told the police that Gökhan constantly chased Aleyna and that on some occasions the woman even went to his house to ask him for help. The man also said that Aleyna had told him that few people knew about her situation with Gökhan, as she avoided talking about it with many people out of fear for her safety and that of her family. He also said that 4 or 5 days before the incident, Gökhan called him with the number in unknown mode and asked if there was something between him and Aleyna, while the man replied that the two were just friends. Still in his statement, Serhat stated that Aleyna told him more than once that she was afraid of Gökhan and did not want to expose it because she was worried that something might happen to her. The woman was so desperate that, according to Serhat, she had mentioned taking her own life, while the boy told her to stop talking nonsense. The police also took a statement from a relative of Aleyna, identified as Maris. Maris told the police that months ago, the woman called him saying that Gökhan was bothering her on the phone and also on social media. Maris then advised the woman to go to a police station to file a complaint. Aleyna took the advice and went to a police station. While the woman was at the scene waiting to make a report, she sent a message to one of her aunts on Instagram saying that she was at the police station and was finally going to file a complaint. However, very strangely, after a few hours, she sent another message to this same aunt, saying that she had postponed the report until another day. When Aleyna's social media accounts were accessed and analyzed by the police, it was discovered that on September 8th, the woman sent a message to Gökhan saying that the two needed to talk, that their relationship was wrong and would end up culminating in a tragedy. On September 22nd, Aleyna sent another message saying that the Gökhan she had known long ago no longer existed and that he had now become a cruel man. In that same message, she accused him of having hurt her and said that she would expose him to the world so that everyone would know the type of man he was. On September 27th, 2 audio recordings were uploaded from an account called Xmetex. The person speaking in these recordings, according to the police, is Gökhan Argan, and he tells Aleyna that he was a person who was not to be trifled with, and that is why they would say goodbye to each other soon. Gökhan confirmed to the police that these voice and text messages were indeed sent by him. After the police collected various pieces of evidence and put together the final report, they presented it to the prosecutor's office, who sent it to the responsible judge. Shortly afterwards, the judge issued an arrest warrant for Gökhan Argan. The man was arrested on October 7, 2021 and placed in prison. According to what was found by the investigations, Gökhan was responsible for Aleyna's decision to take her own life. According to investigations, the man had extensive control over the victim, causing her to feel desperate and lead her to make the decision she did. It was also discovered that Gökhan had the habit of attracting women much younger than him with offers of money and gifts through social media. Once attracted, these women were made drunk and then forced to have sex with him. The man always escaped these crimes using his influence and financial power. Gökturk, the accused's son and Aleyna's boyfriend, was also investigated by the police, but authorities found no evidence linking him to what happened to the woman. During an interview, Gökturk said that he felt contempt for his father and that he dishonored him. The boy also said that he was also a victim of the man and that he was thinking about leaving the city to cool down a little. On March 17, 2021, the trial of Gökhan Argan began. Aleyna's family, together with the family's lawyers and the Igdir Women's Rights Commission, followed the entire trial. The prosecution presented a young woman whose name was not revealed, who said that she was also a victim of Gökhan, and that in addition to her, there were several other young women who went through the same thing at the hands of the accused, but who were afraid to report him. This young woman also said that when everything happened, she was still threatened by Gökhan, and out of great fear, she decided to leave the city. The prosecution also presented a report containing all the conversations between the accused and Aleyna, and said that through all the information attached to this report, it was possible to verify that Gökhan forced relations with the victim and even forced her to take her own life through pressure and threats. The defense claimed that all the accusations were unfounded and that the defendant could not be held responsible for the actions that culminated in the woman's death. After a few hours of deliberation, Gökhan's sentence was determined, but before it could be said, the judge asked if the defendant, who remained silent throughout his trial, wanted to make any statement. Gökhan just looked at everyone in the courtroom and said he was innocent and wanted to be released. The judge then proceeded with the finalization of the trial, sentencing Gökhan Argan to life in prison and also a fine of 10,000 liras, approximately $530. After the sentence, the man's lawyers said they would appeal and did so later, but so far, according to sources, the sentence remains. Family members and other people who followed the case and wanted justice for Aleyna said they were satisfied with the sentence. The authorities who worked on the case released a public note asking Gökhan's other victims to speak out, as this way he could be convicted of more crimes, and this would make it difficult for him to obtain any appeal, in addition to getting a little justice. Although investigations concluded that Aleyna took her own life, many people who followed the case firmly believed that everything was set up to make it look like the woman jumped from the building. These same people also believe that Gökhan and his son Gökturk, who was dismissed as involved in the case, planned everything. In any case, the police have already completed the investigation and do not intend to continue with the investigations, considering the case closed. But what about you? Do you believe that Aleyna really jumped from the building on her own, or was it all set up? Is her boyfriend really innocent or involved in the case? Leave your opinion in the comments. Thank you very much for watching me until the end, and I'll see you in the next video.